Hello everyone. Today, I want to share with you what I found about motion programming with R+MOTION 2.1 with the Darwin Mini to be exact. As you already probably know right now is the instruction for R+MOTION 2.1, how to use it, or in Korean at this point in time, and because I haven't got time to translate it out into English yet. Recently, I got a chance to spend some time looking at it a bit closely, and this is what I found. So we have Darwin Mini sitting here, and we'll go on. So I show you. So review first is the motion editor version 1. So you remember motion 1, you had the poses of the bot, which were called steps. And then together they form pages. And then from inside the task program, you just use play the motion index number, and then you just trigger it and entering whatever page number you want to. So let's review that. So for example, so like this one here, good old ROBOTIS version 1. So like the bowing page, motion page called bow, it have 6 steps, step 0 to step 5. And each of them, of course, correspond to one of the pose. And you notice previously too, the CG, the graphic is corresponding to the CG of the robot. So you see the guy just left the earth here, suddenly jump higher and come down again. So their situation was like that. So poses or steps, they form motion pages, and then from inside task program, we just call out the page number. So if we want to play bowing with page 1, if we want to do bravo with page 2. Okay. In R+MOTION version 2.1, they have substantially changed. So right now, they call robot poses, no longer step. Basically, they change lots of rename lots of things, I guess, so that people won't get confused. So we have the robot poses now, and if you insert them into a timeline, it becomes keyframes. And then if you group those keyframes together, you get motion units. And then you group those motion units whatever way you want to, you become motion group. And then from inside the task program, you would call that motion group, not motion unit anymore. So motion pages will kind of equivalent to motion unit in the new system now. But then you get the choice of grouping motion unit into motion groups in version 2.1. Also today I will try to talk about calibration, how to do calibration and offset in version 2.1. And lastly, I show you kind of an interesting application, kind of unusual, is trying to use Manager for playing motion groups now. Okay, so let's go on with it. So the OpenCM now for C, this is the one I'm talking about. Okay, only for this one. So all this talk is just related to this particular control only, version C only. And in this one, it has bootloader and proprietary firmware from ROBOTIS, which allow us to use task and motion and manager tool and a mixer wizard and all that too. So you remember, just a quick review, all the Darwin Mini using XL320, and make sure you have it in join mode. And if you remember the counterclockwise position limit 0, which is down here, and the counterclockwise position limit is 1023 down here. So overall, the turn range is only 300 degrees allowable. And I'm sure you probably remember 512 right in the middle. And this is kind of key. In version 2.1, you don't use the position number from 0 to 1023 anymore. They use a degree, number of degree, and it was reference to this 512 position. So if you remember in version 1, all these are servo position number from 0 to 1023. in 2.1, you see that we're going to enter in degree in respect to this 512 position, which is 0 degree. Okay, so that's one big change. Also, they added 2 marking on the horn now. So there's only one Roman numeral I1, I guess. So up the top, that's corresponding to the 0 degree on the servo. And if you have 2 marks line up with the top of the horn or top of the servo here, that would correspond to the 180 degree, which essentially is kind of illegal because the potentiometer to give you the position of the servo doesn't work there. That's the forbidden zone, you remember. 180 degrees down here, so no man's land or forbidden zone for the potentiometer. So just a quick view on the graphic IDE version 2.1. You will come in and you pull up an MPNX file. You probably see something like this. So these would be the robot poses where they are. You can set them up here too. And there's some other connection down here. I will show you in the demo a little bit. There's a timeline, which you can zoom in or zoom out. So each robot pose here, when you stick them into the timeline, they form a specific keyframe. And then you can set up a bunch of keyframes to do certain things that become a motion unit. And then if you switch to the motion group tab, you can edit and add motion units into your motion group. And then you can play motion group from the task program. So let's switch to that one. So I have R+MOTION in right now. I'm pulling Darwin Mini 1, which is essentially the one is the same thing as a demo MPNX file that ROBOTIS give you, except I go in and just go through the web trying to translate as best I can from the Korean to the English. So I'm using right now today Zigbee connection between the PC and the Mini Darwin. I'll turn it on. It has a little program in it already, so immediately we'll go to the initial pulse, and then I can do other things, but we'll show you in a minute. So you pull in Darwin Mini MPNX. So right now I'm in the motion unit. So they have initial pose, and then I create calibration pose and test pose. Their number 2 was a Lexbit stand up thing. So let's talk about calibration first. I would choose calibration. And the nice thing about in version 2.1 is you can do all kind of things without connecting to the robot. So you can edit a bunch of file and motion pages without having to use an actual robot. And it helps a lot. That's saving on battery and wear and tear on the bot. So the calibration pose, you can just play it. Basically, I'm putting into the cross or Christ Redeemer position, except palm down. It's a strategy well known from overlooking Rio. Okay, so let's connect. So my Zigbee happened to be on COM 11 today. Okay, I'm going to sync mode now. And so I'm already in calibration post. I'm going to do here. So now when I play it in sync mode, you can see that I want to download it before it does it. Here we go. So remember, this one is essentially, you see that the program called for 0 degrees. And so in that position, because when we build it, nobody built the body to be the same. So I want to make sure to check all of that. Okay. So let's go to the home, go to the edit offset, we'll pull it down. Okay, so you can see the robot is here, and physically it's pretty decent, like the picture too. But you notice that I had to put a -2 degree to my 11 servo and plus 2 degrees to my 12, just a little bit to keep it really vertical as it's supposed to do. Okay, so I have a slack a little bit in 11 and 12 in almost, well, sort of like the hip joint a little bit there. And then so from here, I already made it. You can download that to the robot to keep it for next time, or you can save whatever offset you figure out into a file, and then you can load from file later. So I had to do this. Oh, and how do you enter it? For example, like here, if you wanted to, let's say I change to -4, hit it. This one, I should have that. Put it +4 here. Hit enter. I don't know if you saw it, but personally it moved up a little bit there. It's a bit off too much forward now. So maybe you can see now -2 here. You see that? I don't know if you heard it move a little bit. The motor moves a little bit. Here we go. I think you saw that move. Okay, so that's how you set up your offset like that, just to be on the safe side. So you can read again, so it's not really 2.05 a little bit. I download the offset to it. So now we'll remember, and then I can quickly save as whatever. So this robot is number 3 for me, so I could have saved a setting there. Okay, so that's done. Let me go. Where to go? All right, so let's go back to the, so let's take your calibration pose. And then the test pose. Let's move it back here a little bit. So the test pose is kind of silly. You notice that the real robot actually moves its head, which is servo 17, and you can see servo 17 kind of sit all along by itself here, because I haven't figured out how to actually assign it to this fake servo in the head, because I think it's involved with how to interface with the actual robot file, the 3D drawing, and all of that. And I asked ROBOTIS people, but haven't got a chance to share that with me yet, so we don't know. Maybe one of these days they're going to release a motion page MTNX file with this integrated. So right now, even though I can fully control and model it, it's kind of annoying because this one is separate. It will integrate with the head. The head will stay still, but this one actually moves. So let me play it again. You see that 17 actually moves as the rest of them there. Okay, so how do you create a new keyframe? Fairly easy. You just pick your keyframe right here, and let's say I want to straighten that up now. So let's put 0 into it. You see the head move. Okay, so now I got it. Okay, so what I need to do is just plus here, insert it in, and I got it made. So now if I play from the beginning, it downloaded again. Okay, so now it's straightened up with this head forward. So fairly easy. One thing I want to show you of interesting here is, so the test pose is now like that. So let's say I'm happy with it. So I'm download the whole thing and keep it. Good. Okay. Let's go back to motion page, and I took out a sync mode. Let's see. Okay. I'm trying to zoom in, but it won't let me zoom in. That's about as best I can do. But I wanted to point out something very important. So these are the keyframes, which is no different from the step that we did in version 1.0. So this one is also another step from version 1.0. The interesting part is, if you, I don't know, you notice, this is, let's say I'm here now, right? So this is frame 204, at time is 1593 millisecond. You're trying to click as close to it as possible. Let's see, that's too close. Here we go. So it's 1609 millisecond, 204. I'm trying to go to frame 205 here. Yeah, let's see, right here. So 1593, remember that. Well, it jumped to 206. So 1593. Okay, so let's see, 25. That's easy this way. Frame 2000, 207 times 16, 617. I'm gonna move. Okay, see 208 is 25. 207 is 1617. 208 is 1625. So you can see that between two frames exactly, or it actually, when you check on it, it bounces around between 7 and millisecond. And this is interesting because this is a time, the delta time or the time interval that every dynamic cell got refreshed, shall we say. That used to be in the firmware, well, it is still is in the firmware of every dynamic cell. And that part was in the firmware that kind of hidden from us, you never see it. So this is the interesting part is they, robotics people, pull out that. Basically, they animate the very detailed sequence of how it's updated in each frame for us here to see. So you notice it's moving. This one is in a good spot. Okay, this is a better spot here because they're moving the arm. So the key, let me roll timeline here. Here we go. So this is the keyframe that I define in. And the next keyframe that I define in for it is this one. Okay. But you can see that from here, every time I go about next frame up, so this is very interesting because they show you in detail how they move it all together every 8 milliseconds. And that's how they implement it in their own firmware to actually take the servo from one place to the other. But basically, the key finally they show us here. So I guess they have to do that so that when they are in sync mode, the graphics synchronize here we go. So synchronize with the with a little bit of delay, but synchronize with the real robot. Of course, all this involves the setting. We have the flexibility level and the inertial force level. That's the same thing as version 1.0, and that haven't changed. Okay, so you've seen how they do. We do different motion units. Okay. So, and then we go to motion groups. So motion group, like initial pose, they just had it, the initial pose motion unit in there. So when you play it, there's no difference. Okay. And bowing and all that, same thing. But like for forward here, forward 3-step, they combine walk forward for R 3 times, and then half a step forward at the end to kind of end of it, everything line up together again. So, and you can do this by adding motion unit or minus, etc. So let's play this and see. Okay, and then you can trigger backward. So I'm going to insert 44 R now. Let's say here. And let's see. I forgot that I have to do it. So now we do again. They're going to go backward. Going to go forward one time. Okay, so that kind of triggered that. Let me go back to initial pose. Okay, I want to show you something else now. So all these things here, remember I already downloaded. So let's just make sure I download that again. Okay, and then I want you to remind something. So essentially, we have init pose is essentially motion group 1, and way down here, it happened to be Gangnam Dance, and it happened to be page group 42. Right now, I'm not synchronizing, so it's just dancing here. So let it finish that. Okay, now let's go sync mode. Do it again. Actually, with the robot was faster than the graphic at that time. Graphic was faster than graphic. All right, so we're good here. So let me minimize it. I want to show you something interesting. So right now, remember this one is going through Zigbee COM 11. And if this is Robot Plus Manager and COM 11, some of you may have used this one called Stick to Serial Management. And usually we manage that to change the ID of the Zigbee and various things. I found out that you can use it. It's already in use. I need to disconnect from here first. We're going to use COM 11 again. So go back to the manager. So do this. You can see, say, go through COM 11 tutorial. And then you remember you can send various messages here. So what I do is I'm going to enter 42, because that's the page number for the Gangnam Dance. It's not cooperating today. It sent it out, but it's not receiving. Let's try it again. We turn it off. Cancel that. Turn it on again. Let's see, you got communication now. Okay. Let's try it again. Let's see. Aha. Okay. I think page 3 was bowing or something. Interesting. I push one time and send 3 times. Let's try 1. Which is in it. Oh, it didn't clear. Let's try 3 now. He's always playing 32, 42. So the buffer somehow didn't clear. Okay. Let me show you how I did that. Let's close that one. So remember, I have the motion page already done. I create a task program. And I can download that. So essentially, I set up everybody to join mode, turn the power on. First, I play motion 1, which is the initial position, initial pose, and just wait until it's done. I have an endless loop. I clear out that every time. As soon as I have received data false, I wait there until I send in the data from the manager. It should have picked it up, and then I play that motion in the group. And wait which is true, and then it just cleared out again. So it looked like it did not do that. So it stayed, looked like the 42 stay in this buffer of remote data receive. Now I got it reset. Let me try again to see if I'm okay or not. Let me see. Correctly. 11. Let me try 3 now again, see how it does. Three didn't like it. Somehow didn't pick that up. I see 1. Didn't do it. Did not pick up anymore. Okay. Look like every time I use a COM port, it changes on it, and I lost synchronization. And I'm going to get out of everything here, just in case. That window doesn't want to cooperate today. Let's turn on again. Okay, it should go to page 1. Let me try 3 now, but right away. Immediately go to that one. So somehow in the memory area, it has that one left. That's the last one I played. Okay, let's try to do go backward 3 step. So let's say I want to add something here. Let's add that one, and I want to go with R. Play parameter, same speed, but I want to do it 4 times, let's say 5 times. So now you can see after this one, walk forward 5 times here. So let's try it. There we go. Try again. Hello everyone. If you used ROBOTIS long time ago, if you remember the R+MOTION version 1, which we see here, allow you to have only one instance of the motion editor tools. And recently I have found out that R+MOTION version 2, well, it actually version 2.1 here, actually allow you to have at least 2 instances of it, like you can see here. So I have this one here connected to COM6 synchronized mode, and this COM6 is a Zigbee connection. Over here is COM10, which is a BT Bluetooth 210 connection here. And I have a little video here, a little webcam to show where they are now. So right now I got synchronized them all. This one over here, they will do bow 1. This one will do bow 2. Okay, want to see it? Here we go. This one still, some of them still downloading. And then it missed it. Ah, how interesting. Let's try it again. Okay, let's try again. So it looks like once it's downloaded, it acts pretty quick. And remember, I'm in synchronized mode, so the animation and the ballet and the animation on the actual robot was the same. So once you download it, it's pretty quick. Oh, I look like I'm misclicking that one. So what we got going, look like the performance is very interesting on the new Darwin Mini and R+MOTION version 2.1.